the heart and soul behind every business. Stories. Welcome to Business Story of the Week, hosted by me, Joshua Laurie. From setbacks to comebacks, from tragedies to triumphs, we inspire entrepreneurs through conversations that matter. Witness the magic that turns dreams into reality. Whether it's your career, business, or life, your success is always one story away. This is Business Story of the Week. And welcome back, folks. Welcome back to Business Story of the Week. I am your host, Joshua, and today's question is, why is our modern healthcare system failing to keep us healthy? And what can we do to change that? Where our guest today is, of course, the perfect person to answer that question. Jeff Trigo is a second generation chiropractor with 25 years of experience as an instructor and doctor of chiropractic, serving in Southern California. He is the author of To Heal a Nation, of course, available in Amazon. Over 50 years of drumming. Yes, there we go. Over drumming now, serving at multiple churches as part of their worship team as well. And, happily married with 4 kids and 2 grandsons. And he is healing the world one spine at a time in Huntington Beach. Trigo Chiropractic Wellness Clinic is what he does. Jeff Trigo. Dr. Jeff, thank you for coming on the show. How are you doing?
Thank you. Thank you for the invite. I look forward to always educating and helping people understand the wellness paradigm.
The wellness paradigm. We will definitely get into that. I love that word. I love what you just said just now. Uh, Jeff, Doc, you are a second generation chiropractor. And, I always start with the origin story. Where did this all begin? But clearly, your path was to follow into the family's footsteps. What inspired you to do that? And what inspired you to pursue a career in chiropractic care, really?
Well, I grew up getting adjusted. Uh, I graduated in, my dad graduated in 1967. And
I
so
see. Hmm.
I was,
Wow.
3 years old. And school takes 3 years, 4 years to go through back then. And so I was basically born when he probably started chiropractic college.
Right.
And so I know he was adjusting me as a child. I remember getting adjusted after like an AYSO youth soccer game because I
Hmm.
fell and got slide tackled and my hip was just debilitating. And as a kid, I had a hard time walking. My
Hmm.
dad
Hmm.
adjusted me and says, "Yeah, you're fine. Don't worry about it." And I was fine. I was like, wow, that's
Wow.
pretty amazing. My dad kind of became my superhero.
Hmm.
Had a horrible bike accident in eighth grade, um, where I woke up in the hospital and did a wheelie, and the front wheel came off, and I landed on the forks, and it flipped me, and I just impacted the ground. And I woke up
Hmm.
in the hospital, and
Hmm.
I didn't know what happened. I was told. I was like, wow. But after that, shortly thereafter, I started developing gnarly migraines, debilitating migraines.
Okay.
And
Okay.
my dad says, "Oh, here, let me see this. Boom, adjustment, boom, adjustment." He didn't explain much. He just
Hmm.
adjusted me because you're
Hmm.
going to be fine. Wow, no more headaches that were plaguing me. Um, and my mom and dad were divorced at the time, and my dad was living away,
Okay.
and so I didn't always get that two, three a week or that one a week. Sometimes it was once a season,
Okay.
and when I was young, because maybe he lived in Big Bear, maybe he lived in Hawaii, and with his new wife, and so I had to go sometimes between adjustments, and I noticed with time came horrible symptoms, came
I see.
problems. It's like I was waiting to brush my teeth, and then I'd have a cavity, and then that's when I would brush. Well, I never did that, of course, because dentists have done an amazing job
Mm-hmm.
of educating the patients on regular brushing to avoid the cavity. Well, chiropractors kind of dropped the bomb in the same area where if you got
Right.
regular adjustments, you wouldn't have symptoms. And it's like, how is that possible? And so
Mm-hmm.
my dad started explaining how the body works, and then I
Mm-hmm.
learned so much more in chiropractic school when I saw so many miracles in his profession uh, and in his practice, and what I personally received from chiropractic. I wanted to have the torch passed and continue that legacy and be able to do that to others. And so, a lot of people don't know this, but I'll be brief. I'll run this down for you real quick.
Oh, please.
This is a spine, okay? And
Wow.
literally, this is a really old one. I keep it in my garage. Got it at home being interviewed on my day off, and all the great spines are at my office. But just to kind of show you, we have a brain up here. And it sends neural electrical impulses up and down this spinal cord, and those impulses travel out every one of these little wires, and they go to organs, tissues, cells, glands, muscles, and skin. So if one of these is out of place, it's going to pinch that nerve and shut off that neural electrical impulse, kind of like flipping off a circuit breaker, kind of like putting a dimmer switch and lowering the power of the lights, and the lights get dimmer and dimmer. Well, you lock your spine and you pinch one of those nerves. If that nerve goes to the lung, that child's going to get asthma. If that happens to go to your upper facial area, you're going to have either headaches or vertigo or high blood pressure or sinus pressures or eye issues or jaw issues and so forth. And so we're wired for health. And I can't tell you how many children have come into my office and they've got pressure at the top, squeezing the spinal cord, and pressure that shuts off the power to the lungs. I adjust them and their asthma is gone. Do I heal asthma? Can I make that claim? No. I'm a chiropractor. I remove the interference. I take the bone off the nerve and I return the healing potential back to that child, and the child heals himself. Time and time and time again. Wow, nobody knows that. How come nobody knows that?
Why?
I don't have $1 billion a day to advertise and brainwash the public like the pharmaceutical companies do, the drug dealers. So as a chiropractor, the most important thing is brain, spinal cord, and nerves working without any dimmer switches.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Isn't that
Jeff,
crazy?
it's quite crazy. I mean, of course, chiropractic, it's not really, as accepted, or it's not really as advertised. Like you said, there's a lot of big pharma out there. There's a lot of, brainwashing happening out there.
And to make matters worse,
hmm
within our own profession,
Oh, really?
you can find A to Z. You can find a guy that only adjusts the atlas. He's way over here on this side. Only adjusts the atlas. Okay. You move a little bit away from the left and you start moving a little bit. That guy adjusts the upper neck, the lower neck, the mid back, and the low back. You keep moving to the right. You find guys that adjust the hands, the elbows, the shoulders, the neck, the back, the extremities, whatever's needed.
Okay.
But here's where the problem is. Okay, move a little more. It's still okay. You're interesting the patient and educating them with nutrition and exercise and spinal care. There's that great paradigm. Adjustments, nutrition, and exercise. That's the physical health right there. But you keep moving far right. You got chiropractors who are doing the humdinger, that are taking ropes around people's necks and pulling it as hard as they can. I'm sorry, it's not taught in a chiropractic school. It's not, therefore, chiropractic. It's something else. It's a very strong force that's not accurate, and you can't define in a court of law exactly what bone you're moving by hand. Chiropractic. Chiro means hand. Practic means to practice with your hands. And so, and you got the guys also doing so many therapies, but they're not adjusting. Clicky devices, electrodes, hot packs, cold packs, shake and bake, vibrators, creams and potions and lotions and blue goo and ultrasounds.
Goodness.
But what one of those procedures unlocked the spine? None. So I'm not against the physical therapy. I'm against calling it chiropractic and not adjusting the spine. At least adjust the spine so the patient can heal, and don't focus on the symptoms. So that's where chiropractors defer within our own profession. I'm not a symptom-based chiropractor. I am a subluxation-based chiropractor. Find the lock, fix it, leave it alone. The body heals.
Okay. Wow, Jeff, first of all, that again is that you're teaching us some of the misconceptions when it comes to chiropractic care. It is unbelievable that it also happens within your industry. I wanted to touch back a little bit on your origins because it's funny how you almost get yourself in trouble a lot, but then it's a good thing that your father was a chiropractor and got you out of that. Of course, that experience allowed you to get into gain this kind of perspective that you are sharing with us today. And you share the same perspective in your book, To Heal a Nation. It discusses the shortcomings of our healthcare system. Can you share some key insights from your book? Of course, you've shared some key insights just now, and how can individuals achieve true wellness, and how would you define true wellness?
Well, true wellness is not just absence of symptoms or disease.
Hmm.
Think
Hmm.
about it. I like to relate everything to, dentistry for easy comprehension. Imagine
Hmm.
somebody who's not brushing their teeth.
Hmm. Hmm.
They don't have a cavity yet. They don't have a hole in their tooth yet.
Nope.
Maybe they got
Nope.
some bad breath, but maybe they rinse. I don't know. Maybe they're eating mint, and so it's not such a bad breath, but they're not
Hmm.
brushing. It takes
Hmm.
a while. It takes a
Hmm.
while for that cavity to show up, and then
Hmm.
that hole to eat its way through the enamel, so that when you drink something hot or drink something cold, you're like, "Oh, that hurts." Okay,
Okay.
well, wellness is not just absence of symptoms; it's truly thriving and aging well. And wellness has a compounding effect, just like investments does, just like
Right.
working out does.
Right. Right.
Imagine
Right.
saving money, $100 a week, and you're getting interest on it, and you started at 2 years old versus starting at 60 years old.
Right.
The compounding interest on that money and how big it grows because you started so early.
Hmm.
Same with chiropractic. Kids should be getting adjusted. We should never be going weeks, months, seasons, years, or decades with a locked spine that's not being checked. Locked
Hmm.
spines become
Hmm.
arthritic. The nerve atrophies and gets weaker and weaker and weaker. So, what is wellness? It's truly thriving, aging well, having a subluxation free life that's full of wholesome, real foods,
Hmm.
and they have to be in proper balance,
Of
proper
course.
fats, proper proteins, the
Hmm.
proper types of carbos. Everything needs to be in balance. So there's a lot to teach in
Of course.
nutrition.
Of
So I
course.
threw a nutrition chapter in here
All
called Eat
right.
Well.
Hmm.
Called Eat Well. There's a
Hmm.
lot to learn about the reasons why we want to stay active and exercise. So
Hmm.
I have a chapter in here called Move Well.
Move
Okay,
well. Of course.
move well. Okay, there's a chapter in here for mental health called To Think Well. You can have the healthiest person in the world, but if they're depressed and paranoid and jealous and full of hate, that's not physical, mental, and spiritual wellness.
Hmm.
And so I kind of took the concept of wellness and broke it into three categories: physical health, mental health, and spiritual health. It
There
is a
you go.
Christian book.
Hmm.
It's from Christian Faith Publishing.
Hmm.
So the spiritual advice you'll get from here is biblical. It's
Hmm.
not my opinion.
Hmm.
It's gonna be biblical, and I just love the also the physical and the mental gems they put in there. And so there's a chapter called Toxicities and Deficiencies.
Hmm.
In today's food, it's poison
Everywhere.
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 They're making everybody fat.
Sick.
You go back to the 1940s and look at films of people on the beach. You can't find somebody obese.
Hmm.
Now, it's hard to
Every.
find somebody thin unless
Yep.
you're a gym rat, you
Mm,
know?
precisely.
And it's like you walk around the malls, you walk around the beaches,
Hmm.
you go to a ball game,
Hmm. Hmm.
all the men have beer bellies, you know. The women are overweight and
Yep.
there's sugar in everything, and that's the cause.
That's sugar. I agree. Sugar in everything. I agree. It's so much more harder to actually find food that doesn't have sugar. And almost what 90% of the food in the groceries and supermarkets are not even real
Added
food.
sugar.
Added
Yeah.
sugar and like processed food down to the like it's you can't even call it food anymore. But
I
it's
give
so
I give
common.
advice. I give advice on 5 ingredients or less,
Oh,
and
please.
you can identify what every word is. You don't have to look up some chemistry.
Oh, please,
It's
please.
whole food.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well,
so I love helping my patients, but one of the things I found very, very difficult.
mm-hmm.
I'm really good at taking the x-rays and analyzing them and showing everything to the patient and really teaching
Yeah,
them,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
touching their body and saying, you see right here on the x-ray, see how tender it is right here on your spine.
Right.
Wow, yeah, that's causing this. There's the chart. Yeah, that's what I
Mm,
have. Adjusting them, having them feel better. That's the easy part. The
right.
hard part, getting them off the couch when they go home, getting them to buy the right stuff
There you
when
go.
they go shopping, because I'm
There
not
you
with
go.
them,
There
their
you go.
lifestyles. And so I explained in this book
Mm-hmm.
toxicities, deficiencies, natural remedies,
Mm-hmm.
move well,
Mm-hmm.
think well, eat
Mm-hmm.
well,
Mm-hmm.
athletic edge. I
Mm-hmm.
talk about big pharmacy and their tactics,
Mm-hmm.
and what their poisons are linked to, and I
Mm-hmm.
call them out by name.
Mm-hmm.
What's in a flu shot, and you can Google it, and these are the ingredients, and this is what that causes to the human body, and you can see how none of it's healthy, none of it's good for the
None of it.
person to thrive.
None
And
of it.
the problem with California and a lot of other states, very corrupt. Um, Somebody with a lot of money, like a pharmaceutical company, pays a handful of cash
Yep.
to some
Yep.
lawmaker, and
Yep.
that lawmaker passes legislation that says, hey, let's
Yep.
inject our 6-year-olds 72 times by the time they're 6 with these toxic cocktails, and
Mm-hmm.
create a really good revenue stream of sickness to just pad our pockets with pharmaceutical sales for the whole life. The whole life, these kids going to need us. And, you know, polio was not eradicated by the vaccine. It was 95% eradicated by the time the vaccine came out.
Mm-hmm.
So, what eradicated polio? That's when we invented the sewer systems and hand washing and sanitation practices, and we stopped getting the fecal matter on the streets, and we developed
Wow.
sewers and stuff, and it eradicated polio. Then comes the polio vaccine when it's 95% eradicated. They spring it on the public and they say, ooh, vaccine's good.
Oh.
Let's create this cash cow for life and
Mm-hmm.
just demand more and more and more injections. And now my children can't even go to the high school I went to, and
Mm-hmm.
to the schools I went to,
Mm-hmm.
because now they require many, many dozens of toxic, poisonous jabs with chemicals linked to many ill health effects. I mean, many, many diseases, many conditions linked to the toxins that are in these jabs. And I refuse. So my kids and many millions of other families in
Mm-hmm.
California have to go to chartered schools, homeschool programs, uh, not public programs, to
Mm-hmm.
get our children to make sure that they're not being jabbed and poisoned for education. So we have to take matters in our own hands, and that's a
Mm-hmm.
darn shame. Shame on you, California. Shame on
Mm-hmm.
you, legislators who
Mm-hmm.
sold out to big pharma without any scientific proof that they work.
Wow. Wow. I mean, I appreciate the passion behind this, Dr. Jeff. I mean, it is a shame. It is a truly shame of not of taking away that independence, taking away that choice, especially at a very young age, and forcing people into a situation that they do not, they're not aware of, that they're not educated enough about, all for what? All for profit, all for money. But I love that there are, voices like you, there are leaders like you in this field who is, sharing or like putting a voice um, into that, giving a voice to the voiceless, so to speak, right? I love that. Dr. Jeff, I love that you also, you have this all in your book. I'd love to give this opportunity. Where can we find your book? Where are you most active in? Are you in any of the socials? Are you, your website, your LinkedIn? Where can we
So,
connect with you?
so thanks for asking.
Hmm.
My website is Trigo Health Chiropractic, or excuse me, that's my business. TrigoChiropractic.com is my
Hmm.
website. And I
Hmm.
know there's a book link where you can click on the book and it just reroutes you to Amazon.
Hmm.
So, you know, Trigo Chiropractic will educate you. That website will educate you on a lot of things we're talking about. But Amazon has my book, and it's called The Healing Nation. It's green. It's got a picture of the brain. It's got spinal cord. It says on the top here, a physical, mental, and spiritual wellness guide. Okay, and as you go through it, there's going to be pictures and graphs and quotes and greats and pioneers and athletes and movie stars, and and I love the Jack LaLanne quotes. I love the Kobe Bryant quotes. I love how it's broken down. There's B.J. Palmer, D.D. Palmer. There's biblical quotes. There's proverbs, Dutch proverbs, Chinese proverbs. There's just I'm just kind of flipping through it and just seeing some of the quotes. The quotes are all in bold, so they stand out and they're often. There's a goal setting tool in here. Also, if you're having problems getting your purpose in life or really figuring out, the direction you want to go, there's 10 questions in here. It starts off with getting paper and pencil, and don't do anything else until you got your paper and pencil. And then it asks for one goal, then it asks for the second one, then it asks for the third one. And each one of these is designed to bring clarity, to bring purpose, to bring excitement, to bring a plan. And it's one of the best goal exercises I've ever seen. And I've seen many speakers, Jim Rohn, Tony Robbins. There's quotes from them in this book, Bruce Lee, and there's a lot of great things in here. But take a little bit of that, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and I came up with that 10-question goal setting tool that if you actually do it, it'll change your life. You can get the book at my office. So the locals that are in Huntington Beach, Orange County.
Okay.
And they add like and so I've done that as well for people. But it's available on Kindle, softback, hardback on Amazon, and Christian Faith Publishing is the publisher, so they obviously have it. They have it as well. It's supposed to be available in all the Barnes and Nobles. However, I've been to the Barnes and Nobles, and they're not there. They're on their website, and people have to actually be going to Barnes and Noble and requesting it. And then they'll buy them and bring them into their store.
All right.
So
All right.
there's that.
Okay, that is well. First of all, that is good to know, and of course, I love that you, again, the keyword that you said was thrive, and of course, thriving also involves, holistic, mental, spiritual. But I love that you put in there goal settings. You include it in your book because we need goals. We need to have, that goal setting to allow us to live more healthily and thrive with our health. Jeff, it has been, a passionate episode with you. I love it. I love what you teach. I love that there's a voice like yours in this space. Um, one last bit of wisdom, one last thing to share to our audience and listeners. Take us home.
All right. I don't want to forget this.
Mm-hmm.
I do have a Facebook group called To Heal a Nation.
Right.
So request to join that. And you're going to see so many gems as you scroll. Hey, I like what he said. He is valid, and I know that this is true. And I'll just share somebody else's video onto my page. Some of it's stuff that I post, some of it's stuff but all of it's book topics. So that's the motto. Okay. And so To Heal a Nation Facebook page is the Facebook group. The Facebook group page is a group. Request to join. But to take you home, neglect is of pandemic proportion. And it's absolute ignorance that going through regimens of pills, potions, lotions, shots, bolts, screws, laser beams, crystal balls, titanium bolts. Then, when all has failed, they walk into my clinic and ask for help. Wait a minute. You got screws and bolts in your low back, and you still got low back pain. What do you expect me to do? Where were you before the screw?
Absolutely.
Don't believe when a medical doctor tells you that this is your only option. They do
Right.
not know what we do.
Of
Chiropractors are
course.
amazing, and there's millions of us throughout the nation, and hundreds of thousands of us are excellent. Okay, so you got to find a good chiropractor who takes X-rays, adjusts by hand, very gentle and accurate. Only moves one segment at a time. Can feel the spine and say, this is the one, huh? And you can confirm, yeah, that's the one, and that's the only one you feel moving. It's not a
Mm-hmm.
big violent twist where 9 bones move. That's not chiropractic. That's a
Mm-hmm.
manipulation.
There you
Chiropractic
go.
is, wow, this L4 is tender right here. This L4 is tender, and the adjustment is right there on L4. Not a big twisty move. So the right chiropractor will save your life, and all spines get locked
Mm-hmm.
when they're locked, not if.
Mm-hmm.
When they're locked, you lose joint motion, so the discs get thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner, and spurs grow all along, the nerves shrinking and symptoms are rising, and then you're on 6 different pills by the age of 60. Stop. Get adjusted
Mm-hmm.
at least twice a month. Stay regular with your care. Eat healthy and exercise. And you know what? Praise the Lord, for He died for us, and we have streets of gold in heaven waiting for us. And you know what? You got God, you got health. It really helps you with your mental status. But there's so many gems I didn't get to talk about. It's a lot of research in this book. And do me a favor, if you buy this book on Amazon, then if you like it, go back and give me a 5-star review if you love it. And that review is important because I got I don't know, high 70s right now of 5-star reviews. And well, I got a 1-star review. It says, "Love the book, Doc," and it's got a heart and a prayer sign. But I don't like that it arrived dented, and there's a dent right there, and I can't. What's a 1-star? Hey, he loves the book. I'll take what I can get. But you know what? Let's get thousands of reviews.
Of
Let's.
course.
This book should be taught to grade school kids. This should be taught to high schoolers. This should be in every chiropractic class. This should be in every chiropractic clinic's lobby, because it's doing the work for us. This is what
Absolutely.
we wish every patient knew about
Mm-hmm.
our great profession, about health, about wellness, about toxicities and deficiencies and natural remedies and stretching and exercise. We wish they all knew this.
Mm-hmm.
So it does the heavy lifting for the chiropractor, so that he doesn't have to try to educate every single patient one by one, but can just say, here, read this. This is part of your, you know, introductory wellness program. Up your price by $20. If you first visit with X-rays and everything's X amount of dollars, raise it $20 and gift the book. But people need this because it's not
Absolutely.
being taught anywhere. They're
Anywhere.
teaching fear, shots,
Mm-hmm.
bolts, screws, laser beams,
Mm-hmm.
opioids, and it's not working. We're a very sick nation. We're
Mm-hmm.
not a healthy nation. We're a third world country when it comes to our longevity, and it's not right. We're the greatest nation on the world in
Mm-hmm.
the world, and I know that the Bible says we're allowed to tap into the 120-year lifestyle. The lifespan of man's 120 years after the
Mm-hmm.
flood,
Mm-hmm.
on Noah's flood. So why are people getting arthritis at 40 and 50,
Right.
getting disease? Because they're not turning the power back on. They're allowing the
Absolutely.
circuit breaker to be off, and this innate wisdom, this neuroelectrical impulse is altered, and distortion and disease sets in. So
Absolutely.
stay adjusted, folks, and keep the power on, and be healthy, exercise.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of gratitude
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of mindset of just, wow, just abundance and gratitude and
Mm-hmm.
contentment. It teaches that in here, and so
Mm-hmm.
we got one life. Take care of it. Where are you going to live if your spine fails you? Where are you going to live? They don't have spine transplants. You
Mm-hmm.
get a new make a difference.
Absolutely. Well, we are there with you, Doc.
The opportunity.
Mm-hmm. 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 And yes, get adjusted, eat well, move well, and grab a
Exercise.
copy of Dr. Jeff's book, Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Jeff, it has been a great one. I hope you enjoy it. To all our audience and listeners out there, see you on the next one.
All right, so here's the thing. We try to get a little bit better every day, but we can't do it without you. So if you like the video, make sure to like and subscribe below. And if you have any comments, just leave them in the space under.